Hey everyone, Rango here. Today, we're doing part 3 of helping you find your main in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So before I begin, I want to ask you 4 questions. Keep these in mind by the end of the video. Did you pick a character that you love? Did you try several characters with playstyles that you enjoy? Do you know your Nen type? And are you playing viable characters? We addressed Nen in my previous video. And if you're not that familiar with the Nen type, I recommend that you either watch that video and or watch the Hunter x Hunter anime. That being said, part 3 will address how I found my main and how this applies, how I applied it. And if it sounds like it resonates with you, then I strongly recommend that you at least try it as well. So let's start with this. Super Smash Bros. 64 and Melee. I played who was fun. I played Fox, I played Pikachu, I played Mario, I played DK, Link. There's a lot. I had no idea who I really wanted to play as. I just played the fun characters, Marth, even Roy, because I didn't play Melee competitively. I played single player, I played with some friends. It wasn't until the Brawl era that I started getting into competition. I do know prior to Brawl that I had a strong preference towards like greatsword characters like Siegfried in Nightmare and Soul Calibur, Auron in Final Fantasy X. It's not a fighting game, but he was always the character I was drawn most towards, and still my favorite Final Fantasy character to this day. Cloud's alright, but he's no Auron. So, Ike was announced in Brawl a little under a year before the game came out. Just about. And I noted in the description on the Smash Dojo that Sakurai said he's, heavier sword character. And I'm like, okay, so he's heavier, kind of like Bowser, but he's got a sword, like Marth. So that sounds like a very simple style that I would enjoy, because I like a heavier character. I'm not that good with lightweights. So we got to looking up, his moveset and whatnot. It all looked cool, and I realized something. I realized that I had an unfinished copy of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance that I needed to finish. And while I know that there's a lot of discussion over people that main Joker should play Persona 5 or not, whatever, I'm of the opinion that I try to follow the games or the content of the characters that I am interested in. So, of course, I went back and I finished Path of Radiance, and, I ended up loving the character. Of course, I'm an Ike main because of Path of Radiance more than anything. So, of course, gave it a shot with Ike. I wasn't that big into Brawl competitive meta. I just liked him. He was fun. He had a great sword. It was perfect for me. And even further than that, when I was still deciding on my Brawl main between Toon Link, Meta Knight, before I decided not to let him carry me, I said, is he that good? Is he fun? So forth. Should I main him? There was an Ike player named Kirk, and he came out with a video called Crimean Sonata. It was a compilation video for Ike and Brawl, using some clips from Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, and music from the composer Motei Sakuraba. He used music from Valkyrie Profile and Eternal Sonata. Anyway, it was a beautiful video. I've linked it in the description, so please do check it out, because if you're a Brawl fan, this will be a nice throwback. Not only that, I went and finished Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn the year Brawl came out, and I ended up loving Ike even more, just because of his complete disrespect of authority, the Senate, the Goddess, you name it. Ike was there. He fought for his friends. He united the continent's army, and he took the Goddess down. He said, "We're not going to do this because it ain't right." And I absolutely love that about his character. So, long story short, I didn't play Brawl after a certain point, and I got back into competitive Smash with the 3DS one, right? So I was still like on All This Brawl and Nintendo Dojo, and I remember Zero was doing challenges on the Nintendo Dojo ladder. And after seeing his performance at the Nintendo E3 tournament, I knew I was like determined to beat him. And I even told him, like probably on Twitter or something like that, I was like, I'm gonna beat Zero. I'm gonna prove everyone I can do it. And we played 2-0. I gave away the result. I won with Ike. He went Fox one game, Bowser the other. And a lot of people be like, oh, it's just 3DS. Oh, it's just online. It was an official ranked match. and I felt wonderful about that win. The people that say that, they don't have the opinion that I do, because that was literally the moment that I knew I was going to be a tournament competitor. That was when I knew I wanted to get serious about Smash. Anyway, long story short, I started hosting tournaments in Augusta, and I started actually going out to my first tournaments. And, I had some success. I took 4th at MomoCon out of 200 plus people. I beat Scat, the Mega Man, who was, ranked in Georgia at the time. And I managed to get 9th at Tipped Off 11, beating 6WX and Fatality, all with Ike. And this was before I even knew he was low tier or whatever. I just didn't listen to that at the time. I'm not saying tiers didn't exist. I just said people underestimated him. And it was wonderful, right? I got the success. I'm ranked number 4 in Georgia, and I kept it up. And then things were going well. I got 2nd at Tiger Smash. I got sponsored by Olympus Esports. It was wonderful for a while with Ike winning my locals and so forth. But my big downfall came at Genesis. It was really bad. Well, you could kind of say Pound. I got bodied by DK Will pretty bad, and then I lost to C3PO, and I think a lot of people saw that as a big upset. It was hella upsetting to me. I think I took like 49th or so. Anyway, after that, I went to Genesis, and not only did I lose after my first round of after pool 1, I lost to Snoops Yoshi, and I almost beat Rich Brown. Game 3, even though I even totally had game 2 until he slipped past me while I was trying to ledge jump him. I lost $50 in money matches. It was the first time I ever went minus in money matches. $50. I challenged like everybody. I'm thinking, I got to beat somebody. Everybody was too good. But more importantly, it burst open the gaping flaws that Ike really had. Once people knew the matchup, they knew how to exploit them. It was really, really bad. It was just heartbreaking. And, in Georgia, I ended up, making under top 8, which was uncharacteristic. I'm like, why? And it became more and more obvious this character was low tier. There were some Ike players that were overly optimistic about the character, and they were like, no, he's actually this good. You just have to do this and that. No, he went -3 against Sheik Diddy and Cloud, and that's the end of that. Not to mention -2 against others, and -1 against a large chunk of the roster. So it was hard. I couldn't go to tournaments for a while, and I started experimenting with other characters like Cloud. At first, everybody knows the Cloud matchup, so that's, of course, didn't help me. But he was another great sword character, and it was a good counter pick. Obviously, realized later I should have just been maining the character as soon as he came out. But I was at a point, hence my Brawl background, hence why I said earlier Meta Knight didn't carry me, that I was very anti-top tier. If a character I loved happened to be top tier, I would use them. But I wouldn't want the top tier to carry me. Well, now in Smash Ultimate Twitter culture, everyone is carried. So it doesn't matter at this point what anyone says. And I've matured from that point because I realized that being a low tier hero is going to get you nowhere. So I started using Cloud. I started picking it up a little bit back up before I started leaving, tournaments entirely. I went to a South Carolina convention tournament, and my rival, Lucky Wind, had beaten me previously at IchibanCon. And I was like, okay, that was bad. He destroyed me with Cloud. And if I go Cloud and Dittos, I'm going to lose. So I started picking up Lucina prior. One of the reasons, you guys might know Lade. He runs the SFP Pro Tips Twitter account. He made some posts about how important it is to pick up secondaries, learn fundamentals, and learn new ways to play the game. So I was like, okay, so everybody knows Cloud. Maybe people are sleeping on Lucina, because I'm not doing more. I'm not a tipper guy. Lucina is a little bit more consistent. She worked better for me. So I gave it a shot. I started doing well with her. Went to BonsaiCon. I beat him and the other PR and NC guys that were there. Life's Robin was like devastating. It was too close. Felt good to win that last tournament. Con rules, don't apply to actual Smash meta, but who cares? I felt great about that win. So it solidified the point that using secondaries is needed in Smash, and even more so in Ultimate, because you can't just solo main people, except maybe like Pichu, maybe Snake, probably Fox. But it's not like a gaping wide 8 or so dominant characters and then shove the rest off. That's Smash 4. I digress. Continue using secondaries. Practice them. It's more important than face tanking a main that doesn't work in a bad matchup. If it's not working, you need to try something else. And if you don't know what that strategy is, start with a new character. Anyway, This is how I applied my net chart when I went to Smash Ultimate. And I was like, okay, so big heavy hitter, Ike. Uh, Great sword character, good range, speed, power balance, Cloud. Um, Good recovery and range, Lucina. So Smash Ultimate comes out, and I start experimenting with characters, like Incineroar, and he sucked. I don't care what anyone says. I know Magister is doing well in his tournaments. You know why? Because Ike was so good for a while, and then he started dropping. Incineroar's not going to get any better until he gets buffed, because he needs it. Um, but he was a character that I enjoyed. I won a couple of doubles tournaments with Benny and the Jets, the Rob main, and I loved him until I realized how giant his flaws were. His mobility's ass, his recovery's bad. He's got very little range outside of a couple of hits and gets stuffed out by swords and Bowser. And, you know, playing Danye online, or Georgia ranked Bowser, yeah, you know, that opened my eyes. Bowser's really good. And I started using him. I loved it. He's got the power. He's fair. He's got tons of range. Several of his attacks are disjointed, like his F tilt. He kills early. And despite his huge size, you know, I can get around that if I'm not getting juggled. So Bowser worked for me. Managed to counterpick with him a couple of times, and it worked out. And I tried Roy, tried Chrom. Realized Roy was better because of his more consistent side B. Um, but I ended up using Wolf for a while before Zachary, before we were carried by Wolf and so forth. I loved his power. I loved his projectile. Of course, I watched Zachary's videos because it inspired me. I was like, you know, I can play Wolf like this. This is really amazing. He's got fantastic tools for counterpicking. So the thing was, I was counterpicking and triangulating Ike's matchups. Let's say I'm fighting a Fox. I hate fighting Fox. Ike gets screwed against Fox horribly. So I went Bowser, and I won. Or, oh boy, it's Greninja. I lost to a Greninja at like the first tournament I went to. So I had Wolf, because Wolf will stuff him out with Nair. Wolf will use blasters. Game set. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed to win, but your advantage is better if you know how to counterpick your opponent. It's important. Don't forget that. So, learning these characters is highly important, but knowing which ones to use makes the difference. I'm not a Pichu user. I'm not an Olimar main. I could never use someone like Mewtwo. You centralize. You centralize. There are certain types of characters that just aren't for me, even if they're top tier. Snake. No. I'm not the grenade planner. You could use a character like that. That doesn't mean that you're going to enjoy it. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be as good as somebody that's better at that style. You don't see Dabuz using Ike and Donkey Kong. You don't see... I think of somebody else. You don't see Void using heavies. If I were to classify them both by Nentop, I would say they were both emitters. Like MVD, he's all about the projectiles. He had Diddy, he had Duck Hunt before a little bit. He's got Snake. So he's all about camping projectiles going in. He's not about like building power or anything like that. Void's about going, you know, in and out, stick and move. Sheik, Pichu, Mr. R, also a Sheik main. You got to camp with those characters. Me, my characters are always about brute force. You know, Brawn versus Brain. But if you got the mind to use them, then you've excelled at both of your points. If that's not the character for you, you might be a manipulator. You might like Olimar. I addressed this once on Twitter before. People are in this massive outcry over Myron's performance at tournaments and hating on Olimar. But the thing is, manipulator types also have a representation in this game, and it's up to you to learn the matchup and use counterpicks as necessary. Excel in your strengths and know what works for you. It's going to take time, but you don't want to go on one side of the Nen chart to the other and be like, well, I use Snake, but maybe I should use Robin too. They have nothing in common, and it's not going to help your playstyle unless at least you know what works for you, and then you know how to triangulate those matchups using the characters that work best on your Nen type. So, did I pick a character I love? Yes, I love Ike, Wolf, Bowser. I beat all their games. That's just my thing. If I was forced to play characters that I didn't like, I'd stop playing. I stopped playing Brawl for that very reason. Oh, Ike's not viable. The top tier is full of characters I don't even like using. So that was a done deal. Did I try several characters with the playstyles that I enjoy? Yes. I went online and I used Chrom, I used Incineroar, I used Mario, I used Dr. Mario. They're fun. I don't think most of them are that viable, and I did better with Roy. Link, and so forth. Do you know your Nen type? Yes, I'm an enhancer, for sure, clearly. Brute force going in. Transmuters rely on deception, like Greninja and Joker players. Joker the trickster. And emitters are more campy. Conjurers cast magic or summon beings, like Robin and Zelda. And manipulators use allies or control you, like Mewtwo, Olimar, Rosalina. Specialists are kind of like their own thing, like Bayonetta, Kirby. It's really hard to decipher them. But once you realize what type fits you best, that's when you realize which characters work for you. And as you do better, you know what works. You see your results improve because you trained with the characters that were right for you. And I wouldn't recommend more than 3. 3 is a great number. Capcom versus SNK 2, Marvel versus Capcom, Dragon Ball FighterZ, they all use 3. So anybody that plays those games proficiently can main 3 characters. And I recommend the same for you if you start getting stuck in a counter-picking war with somebody else and you need to know those characters. So that's my story. That's how it worked for me. And I hope that this guide will help apply these lessons to you as well. So make sure that you check my WordPress blog, give it a follow. I want to, subscribe to me on YouTube. I want to keep adding some more guides on mentality and whatnot for Smash. So again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful. If you have any questions, please let me know. And hopefully I can continue making videos and contributing content to the Smash community. Till next time.